So do you think that the universe was created by God?
Yes, I do.
Well, then, who or what created God?
God knows.
What do you mean God knows? Is that just an expression to say that you don't know?
Partially, but not quite. It's true that I don't know how to explain the origin of God. But I believe that he does.
Why do you think that? There's no evidence at all for the existence of God.
On the contrary, that the universe itself exists at all is evidence for the existence of God. It isn't even the best evidence. I would argue that consciousness and moral sensibilities can't be explained without reference to God.
Well, leave those last two aside for now. Why do you say the universe is evidence for the existence of God? Isn't that circular reasoning? Aren't you just dodging my question?
No, you just need to give me a moment to explain.
Fine, go ahead.
We can all understand that anything that has a beginning has to have some cause for beginning to be. Isn't that fair?
Well, yes. But who says the universe has a beginning at all?
Well, there is the Big Bang Theory.
We can't be sure that's the whole story. Suppose physicists were to discover a cause for the Big Bang.
Of course, there might. But that just pushes the chain back another link to some other kind of beginning.
Unless the universe has no beginning at all. Maybe it is uncreated.
Is it possible for something to be uncreated?
Sure, why not?
Why not, indeed. So you can agree that there's no reason God himself can't be uncreated?
Well, I mean, maybe. But it certainly leaves a big gap in our understanding. And you were the one claiming that the universe needed a creator to begin with. Isn't this just a stalemate? I don't see how this whole question provides evidence for either side.
Sure, I'll admit it's a stalemate so far. Let's recap. First, there seems to be no adequate explanation for the universe without God. Second, I have no explanation of God's own origins. Third, we both suspect that the universe had a beginning. Fourth, we can't rule out anything as being uncreated.
Right.
Okay, now we get to the crux of the matter. Suppose you were a detective and you stumbled upon a crime scene of some sort. Breaking and entering, let's say. Jewels are missing from a safe, furniture is turned upside down, an open window.
Does this have anything to do with my question?
Yes. Now suppose that every possible entrance to the house is tied to an alarm system. No one came in or out of the house the night of the robbery, and everyone who knew the password was out of town. You check and double check the alarm system, and it is working fine. It simply doesn't make sense. You can't be sure what happened. You can't build a case that will hold up as proof in court.
Well, that's too bad for me, I guess. Looks like somebody got away with it.
Why would you say that?
Well, even if I can't figure out how it happened, I would presume someone out there must know what happened.
But you couldn't prove it.
Well, I don't need to be able to prove something to have a strong suspicion about it.
Exactly. This is how I feel about the paradox of the creation. I see the evidence around me, the crime scene, so to speak. I know there must be an explanation, but I can't come up with any. And by the construction of the problem, which has been around for all time, we know that no man is capable of answering it. Doesn't it stand to reason that someone out there knows?
Well, perhaps. But why would that someone have to be God?
Well, think again about the chain of events leading up to the theft of the jewels in our hypothetical crime scene. What would you think caused it?
Well, somebody turned the dials on the safe.
And before that?
An electrical signal traveled from the brain to the hand of the thief.
And before that?
Well, somebody just decided to rob the safe. It was a personal decision.
Exactly. Any kind of blind physical thing must have a physical cause. But personal will is of a different character. Sometimes things happen just because someone decides to do it.
So what?
Well, whatever cause we suspect set the universe in motion isn't likely to be physical at all because that requires some physical cause. But if the cause is personal, that's a different sort of thing. So the creator of the universe is someone personal. In English, we call him God.
Well, how do we know the universe is like a crime scene? I mean, you might suspect that, since it contains mosquitoes and cancer and things like that.
If that analogy doesn't help, think of it another way. Suppose you are an anthropologist, and you come across Stonehenge, those big rocks in a field in England. Try as you might, you can't explain how it got there. But nonetheless it is there.
I see. Somebody must know how it got there. And the ultimate cause of it is personal. Okay, I see where you're going with this. But I still have two questions. First, why are you so sure that what we think of as personal will isn't just ultimately physical? And second, why should I think this conception of a personal God is anything like the Christian God you're always talking about?
Those are both good questions. And I promise to answer them soon. Let's meet back in the garden again. Right now I think we could both use some water.